So I've got something that may be useful for you. I was talking to some people today and we were talking about how to win the election in November, and I said, well, one thing we need to do is more messaging. For example, did you know that only 1 in 4 Americans have ever heard of Project 2025? 1 in 4! I said, do you know what Project 2025 is? You know, it's the plan that Republicans have in place that they're going to execute in the first 180 days if Trump is elected. And they were like, yeah, kind of, but can you give us some talking points? And I was like, okay, sure. So here they are in case they help you. And caveat, of course, before I start, Project 2025 is a very long document. And so to give like a 2-minute little spiel on it is hard, but I'm going to try. If you're talking to a friend on the street corner and you just want to give them the highlights, try this. So you can start by saying something like, did you know that there is a large group of billionaire right-wing Christian nationalists who has put together a blueprint for the next Republican president, which will assumedly be Trump? It's called Project 2025. It's 920 pages long, and it is a thorough plan for how they're going to change the country fundamentally to a place that is unrecognizable to almost all of us. Project 2025 is basically a plan for systematically taking apart the federal government, which means that all of the things we rely upon in the federal government, Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits, you know, the EPA, workers' protections, all those things dismantled. Project 2025 has a very clear plan to extend the powers of the executive branch and give the president the powers of basically an autocrat. The president would then use those powers to issue executive orders that would basically reverse a lot of our civil rights. It contains a plan to redirect the military to support domestic law enforcement, and that includes using the Insurrection Act to stop protests on U.S. soil that the administration doesn't agree with. It will remove pretty much all government protections from LGBTQIA people and criminalize many of them. It will reverse racial equality, attack diversity, and reverse all environmental gains. It will replace secular education with a Christian theocracy, and there is a specific plan to get rid of the Department of Education completely. It's going to use something called Schedule F to remove 50,000 civil servants on day one, and they will recruit and train 20,000 conservatives to fill those jobs. Those conservatives, by the way, will be required to take a sort of loyalty pledge where they say that the election in 2020 was stolen. Otherwise, they will not be hired. Historically, our defense policy has been one of defense. They want to change that to offense. Require U.S. foreign policy and U.S. aid to align with a pro-life agenda, and use a very old law that is already on the books called the Comstock Act to ban all abortion and likely most birth control on day one. And if someone challenges you and says, oh, this can't possibly be true, the great news is this is all online and they can go read it themselves. That's how unashamed these people are of this plan. They're not even hiding it. So encourage your friend to do their own research. 1 in 4 Americans understanding that this is Republicans' plan is not enough. So spread the word. And then, for God's sake, help us win.